Thank you very much for the introduction. I mean, obviously, Hong Kong is a slightly different situation. I think we're maybe a month or two kind of ahead of the rest of the world, or at least us in China, kind of about 30 to 60 days ahead, but we're certainly not over. Talking of you from the perspective of Hong Kong as open is loosely used words. Hong Kong has kind of had multiple single figures of COVID-19 cases or zero cases for around the last month. However, the city is very much on high alert, and restrictions are only slowly being loosened as businesses are gradually attempting to return to normal. The previous panelists all kind of mentioned reopening of hotels. We never actually had enforced closures, so we've always been open. However, occupancies have obviously been minimal. Statistically, just to say, Hong Kong has over 200 hotels and 72,000 rooms. This March, we had average around 1,200 overnight guests a day. That's 98% growth year on year, negative growth. So hotels are certainly struggling. What we have seen happening is a big focus on staycations. We're seeing heavy marketing focus here for local residents. We've seen staycation packages with substantial F&B and spa credits, ensuring that guests stay inside the property where they feel safe, where they can maximize their spend and their time. The next big one is implementation addition of delivery services. Everybody in the city is operating delivery, whether it's two Michelin star restaurants like Tuddles to five-star hotel properties in the CBD. The reality is a lot of these are either going on existing delivery platforms like Deliveroo or Foodpanda, or we have actually seen some properties build their own custom-made websites and utilize their internal teams. I believe it was Bruce kind of mentioned multi-skilling, but that's certainly something we're seeing here. I mean, we have banqueting teams and concierge teams kind of running and delivering at people's doors, which is, I guess, good utilization of labor. The next area that we've seen is a highly relaxed booking and cancellation policy. Certainly not a preferred side effect for us as operators. However, it is a necessity. A lot of people have moved cancellation fees fully or just kind of relaxed the booking policy so guests can change their dates whenever. Adaptation of buffets. Again, I think Bruce and I are very much on the same page. Bruce says buffets are possible. That's 100%. They are possible. Admittedly, the changes for the buffet is probably one of the least attractive for the consumer side. Those who are still operating buffets have had to change them a lot. They've had to either increase manning, having actual physical servers or chefs serving dishes so that there's no cross-contamination of service utensils. There's been a ton of plexiglass implemented, everyone adding it over for whether it's spit shields or divisions of tables. Higher turnover of food produce, and probably the least attractive would be to add a spacing and queue marking. So a couple of the hotels locally have kind of distanced out on the floor, I guess a little bit like what you're seeing the groceries doing in the UK, but they've distanced out where you can stand in the buffet. So gone are the days of running straight up to the oyster area. Sadly, you have to do a route around the whole restaurant. Moving on, the next area is just talking a little bit about Hong Kong's restaurants. So that was hotels. Capacities. So Hong Kong has around 12,000, maybe 10,000 to 15,000 restaurants, depending on when. Admittedly, probably around 12,000 at the moment. And they're slowly returning to normality. Restaurants and bars were probably impacted the most. Hotels stayed open, and restaurants and bars all were forced to close or reduce capacities heavily. Talking about capacity, diners were limited to a maximum party of 8 packs now. Previously, it was 4 people. If you are a large group, you can split your booking between multiple tables if need be, but this is a gray area. It's a 5-foot distance between tables. It's quite funny to actually see waiters and measuring with a measuring tape pre-service. Certainly not common in Hong Kong, considering the lack of space we have here. This has been a real challenge. And where you don't have space to accommodate 5 feet between, there's a lot of plexiglass. And now's the time to invest in plexiglass, I guess. Temperature checks at the door. You arrive at a restaurant. Big challenge no longer. You're greeted with a good evening, with a welcome. Instead, the thermometer's in your face. Put on your forehead. They check your temperature here locally, and you're reminded to wear your face mask. Restaurants are meant to ask a specific series of questions. They're meant to record who's been there. But that's really loosened up over the last few days. Little sanitizer bottles on the table. So again, no salt and pepper, just sanitizer. And some of the fancier establishments, offering kind of branded paper bags or envelopes. So when you take your face mask off, you can put it into the envelope rather than leave it on the table. Again, just simple little things that are being done here. Conclusively, I think Hong Kong, like everywhere, has a long road to recovery. It was out last night. Consumer confidence is slowly returning. But if there's one thing that I think has been amazing, it's been the collaboration amongst the industry. You look even at this Zoom chat here. You know, we have people from all over the world talking, helping, wanting to benefit each other. Locally in Hong Kong, that's been incredible, and I think it's probably the one silver lining of this COVID-19 challenges. I mentioned just a few kind of Hong Kong best practices below that have been great. You know, I'm happy to share links for this with you guys. One of them has been a local restaurant group, Black Sheep Restaurants. They did a COVID-19 handbook. Fantastic. You know, they sent it out locally. I was reading the handbook's been translated to 4 languages and is being used around the entire world right now. So if you haven't seen that, it's the Black Sheep Restaurant COVID-19 handbook on Google, and you can find it. And again, this is just them doing it out of goodwill, minor suggestions, kind of email templates to respond to people, and just them saying this is what we're doing. Another big one in Hong Kong has been United We Dine. This is around 150 venues are included. So again, incredible collaboration. And it's an initiative by the local media to encourage you to rediscover Hong Kong's dining scene and to support as many restaurants as you can. Again, just kind of making a little bit of noise, supporting locally. Again, supporting your true restaurant in a safe and sensible way is their tagline. Gift cards, discounted pre-purchase, F&B credits. This has been, again, a big movement here. A lot of restaurants are kind of encouraging you to buy now, spend later. Some of them not discounted, others discounted as much as 50%. You can buy $500 of credit now, and then from July onwards, that credit's worth $1,000 to use in the store on F&B. To be honest, that's probably one of the most successful campaigns we've seen here. And I think people have no worries about, obviously spending money in their local place. Just bring you up to the slides, 1 sec. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time.